camera.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini.
So happy to be back with you post hurricane,
Oh yeah, and
post travel.
before we say anything, we hope everybody in Florida and all the other states that were affected by Helene and Milton are okay. We know you're still trying to get power, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Sorry if I said that, but it does. And we in the Tampa area um, we're a little bit lucky that it shifted a little to the south where the direct 106 miles per hour winds didn't hit us, but we did get 82 miles per hour winds. We got lucky, very, very lucky.
But too many people did not.
Yes,
And so we're not here celebrating. We're just glad that our house is still standing, but so many people have nothing to celebrate. This has been a terrible hurricane season. Bring this closer to you.
Yeah, it definitely has.
It's been a horrible hurricane season. I was looking at a weatherman report who said that for like decades, I don't know how many more,
100 years.
nothing hit us directly.
Yeah.
And then this year, 3 of them did. Like, what in the world? So we've really had it this time around, but
yes,
we made it out, and we're so thankful that so many of our friends south and north of us did too, and the rest of you, we're pulling for you, and let us know what you need.
Yeah,
we've been reaching out, right?
We've been reaching out to a lot of the union presidents and asking, what is it that you need? And all of them so far have said power.
Yeah.
They just need their employees to have power in their home and hot meals.
And unfortunately, we can't provide electricity.
Yeah. And I should have posted it on the Wednesday night chats page, and I'm going to afterwards. But if you go to my personal page, Sarojini Helms, and if you scroll down, I think I shared about 4 or 5 places where you can get hot meals, and they're going to give it away until everybody's back on their feet with their power. So,
and who's giving away fuel?
And a shout out to Reggie with APW in Tampa.
What's up, Reggie? At the airport post office, right?
Yeah, at the airport, we saw different, he was in charge of getting his employees with the free gas and things like that. And it's so good to see the community come together. And this is not being political, but it's sad that when something devastating happens, that everybody comes together. And we know
that it takes that, but it does.
But we noticed that in our neighborhood, like everybody's putting up their shutters and helping. And
our youngest son is climbing like 20-foot ladders to bring shutters down.
Yeah.
So shout out to Narayan.
So tonight is our last quarter. A lot of people were like, it's your last show. No, it's not our last show.
Last quarter. There's only 4 in a year. This happens to be the 4th quarter. So by all accounts, I checked it. This is the last quarter.
October, November, December. And we know right now the busy holiday season starts. October
it's coming,
and it's crazy. So we know,
especially for USPS.
Right? That's what we're saying. Especially for those of you in USPS. It's so funny. We were just talking about sending our son a package for Christmas, and I was like, we're sending it out like way before Christmas.
Yeah,
because we know what the rush looks like. And the last time we tried to send some things out, the line out of the post office was just horrendous.
And your workroom floors are like unbelievable. The rest of us have no concept. If we haven't seen it, like pictures of it, we have no idea what that's about.
And we went through our neighborhood. We just drove around, and the trees literally rooted off of its roots. Like it literally came out. It was scary.
Hey, yeah, that's true. And we have uprooted trees all throughout our neighborhood, and like street signs that are just down. And we were in the backyard during the hurricane, just kind of like witnessing the wind.
Yeah, Chris was in the pool with my brother-in-law while this hurricane is coming.
Forget the pool. But
not the pool, the hot
tub. Forget the hot tub. The point is, like, I'm from Texas, okay? When the winds hit in Texas, there's a tornado and probably your house is gone. Here, the winds are here, and you've known they're coming for a week, and then they hit you, and you're like, oh, that's not so bad, until you can't stand up. And you're sitting in the pool or the hot tub, and you're like, oh, well, at least there's no lightning.
Right. Maria just said, it's ridiculous. We're getting out after 6 now.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious.
It's already It's already started.
It's happening already for the postal employees. So anyways, tonight
is the last quarter. We're talking about woodshed night. We're going to take management
Don't say it.
Behind the woodshed.
So a couple of quarters ago, she said we're going to take management into the woodshed. And I said, whoa. Look, they're not allowed in the woodshed. That's where the bar's at. That's where we get appetizers. They're not. We take them to the back. That's where the 2x4s are. Now, I want to say this. Those of you from the South and from Texas, because Texas isn't the South, but South Texas and Florida, you all kind of know what woodshed means, where we're going to take them behind the woodshed. We are not violent. We don't condone it. We do not want you to swing 2x4s at anybody, including management. So we're just kidding. Don't take us literally. Do not get violent.
Yeah, we're not.
Where we want you to be violent, and I mean this very sincerely, where I want you to be violent is in your knowledge of OWCP.
Yes.
I want you to not get run over, not get pushed around, and not be bullied. I don't want you to react physically. I want you to react intelligently, and that's why you're here. So invite your friends. Tell them to come here. It's the last woodshed night of the year. Q4 woodshed night is fun. Ellie's here. You may see her tail wagging. She loves woodshed night too. But definitely bring your friends, because we're going to be teaching you some things tonight so that your supervisors don't continue to beat you about the head with 2x4s.
Yeah. So we're going to go over some rules, laws, and regulations. You have your agenda of.
It's up here.
All your CFR codes?
Oh, I got them all.
All right. Let's start off.
No, I'm not. I don't have them all. I didn't memorize CFR 20. Whatever, but I'll tell you what the rule says. And then you can just like download the book and they're all in there. But we're going to post a lot of these rules. I think start posting them on chats so people can just have them. I just want you to have them. I don't want to make money off the rules. The rules are there. What I want you to do is have the rules. So we'll post these later.
All right. Let me just give a shout out real quick. We have Federal Injury Centers of Norwood, Massachusetts.
Oh, what's up?
And if you guys have been seeing their Instagram page, they got their little doctor. I forgot what the doctor's name is, but it's a little teddy bear that's been promoting our OWCP National Convention that's happening in what? 2 weeks?
What date is that? So let's go ahead and get that business out of the way. We'll do it again at the end.
27th of October. Don't forget to register. I post this flyer almost every day.
Now, that's a Sunday. But why do you think we did that? Because we know you're working your tail off Monday through Saturday. So some of you VA employees, TSA, you can't get off on Sunday. We understand that, but we're trying to hit the most people we can possible on a day of the week. And Sunday, unfortunately, is the day. Not unfortunately for us, we're happy to do it. But we hope you can, for 3 hours, put your football team away. They're probably losing anyways. And
like yours,
like mine. It'll be very easy for me to not watch the Dallas Cowboys that day. No problem. It'll be like a treat not watching them. My blood pressure, I won't even need blood pressure medication that day. Not that day. I'm not going to watch them, so it won't matter. I'm sure Notre Dame will win the Saturday prior on the 26th, and so it won't matter anymore. Those of you that aren't Notre Dame fans, you're welcome to join the club. It's no problem. You can be a Notre Dame fan.
So if you...
Everybody can be. In fact, I'm interrupting her, but you should know, if you go to South Bend, you can wear an opposing team's jersey, and the people that are local there will say, "Welcome to South Bend. Right. Welcome to Notre Dame." They're so sweet.
Yeah, you told me that.
And all of you should be that sweet.
So if those Notre Dame fans, if those of you still want a PDF copy of the flyer, please message me after the chats. Put your email. Please make sure you double check your email, because if I just copy and paste it into the email, and you'll get the PDF version. That way you can put it up in your union office, at your post office, in your break room, the VA break room, wherever you're at.
Bathroom stalls.
Hey, I didn't even think about that. Jerry Gatewood.
Jerry did.
That, yeah.
Bathroom stalls.
So don't forget, we're going to talk about that again at the end of the show.
And the other thing, before, I'm not going to let you move on. We always forget to promote the podcast. So we have a podcast, the Breaking OWCP podcast with Chris and Gini. Breaking OWCP podcast with Chris and Gini. And you can find that anywhere you like to listen to podcasts, but you should download, subscribe, whatever you do, so you can listen to those, because the stuff that we say here is there. If you're on the West Coast, that's super valuable, because you're still getting off work right now and we're talking. But we're also actually record podcast content that's not here. And so the things you can't hear right now, you can hear if you download the podcast.
All right, we have FIC of Cleveland, Ohio on.
What's up, Dr. O'Reilly? Kevin, nice to have you here.
We have FIC of McAllen, Texas. And if those of you don't know McAllen, Texas, we will be there for the meet and greet open house next Thursday night from 6 to 9.
Thursday, the 24th of October.
So those of you that are in the McAllen area, any agency, any union member, anybody, you don't have to even be a union member, but if you work for a federal agency, you are welcome to come by, say
We
hello.
really love to meet you.
Meet us. We are going to do a mini OWCP training. And when I say mini, it's only 30 minutes.
That's super mini because my standard training is 3 hours. So
yep,
we're condensing it a little bit.
So we'll hope to see you guys next week. And we are so sorry. We know a lot of you. We missed you guys from going to Greenville, South Carolina. We actually had costumes for the masquerade party. Like
we bought so many masks for the masquerade party that we could masquerade for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
but a hurricane happened.
But the hurricane came. We have federal interest centers of.
By the way, I'm looking up because I have a monitor up there. Sorry, that's my camera. That's my monitor. If I look like I'm in space, that's the only issue.
So federal interest centers of Norwood, what I was talking about, it's Dr. Freddie the Teddy. That's his name. And if you guys follow them on Instagram, Dr. Freddie talks about OWCP.
Maria, is the Auburn office up and running? Yes. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Auburn will be going strong next week. All right, there we go.
So next week, yes.
All right, and then we have FIC of Maryland, Virginia, and DC with Tim in the house. 500 approved claims going for 500 more.
What's up? 500.
Way to go, Tim.
You haven't been with us nearly long enough to have 500 claims already. What is your secret? Don't tell me.
And
I
Tim
already
has
know.
Tim is one of the franchise owners that has I think 10 clinics.
Well, I think 9.
9.
He's working on a 10th in Texas.
So Amy
Texas.
J,
that's how you say Texas. Texas.
All right. So we covered those housekeeping things about the McAllen, Texas open house and our OWCP national training that we're doing for 3 hours. And we'll go ahead and talk about it at the end for those of you that hopped on at the end. Robert Delude, Greenville was fun. That's our Robert Delude, the podcast dude.
Okay, so Robert's awesome. All the videos that you see of me,
all those reels
where there's words and he makes me look silly. Once he put a poop emoji. Thank you so much, Robert. That's him. He's really, really, really talented at that. And so he puts that information out there so more of you can see it. If you see those videos, please share them so your friends can see them too. We're just trying to get the word out that you don't have to have denied claims. You don't have to fail in OWCP. And the best way to get that word out is to share Robert's videos. So Robert, thank you for that.
Hello, Stephanie from Virginia.
What's up?
Amy said, got my CA2 accepted. That means approved. Yes, it does mean approved.
Yes, it does. We love approved claims. We have, since we've started, over 6,000 approved claims. Let that number set in.
Yeah. So let's get started again. So tonight, those of you just hopping on, we are doing our last quarter talking about the rules, laws, and regulations that management should and must follow, but they don't sometimes. And we hear it all the time. They're either lying or they don't know or they just don't want to because they're lazy. So
what is the criticism? They're either dumb
or playing dumb.
And Todd, yes, please share this on your branch page. Please. We'd really appreciate that. Your branch would actually appreciate it more.
Yeah.
So please do that.
So you could, you can go ahead and share it. May I share it? Yes.
Yeah. And Amy said, shout out to our Chicago office. Let me tell you something. That office is also crushing it. Hundreds of accepted claims.
Yeah. Oh, and we got FIC of Homestead, Florida with
Dr. Bressler. What's up?
Yeah.
If you're in Homestead or in the Keys, that's where you go. That's it. Amazing. Thanks for being here, Dr. Bressler. That's awesome.
Mike, I don't know the name of, I know it was Shapiro Law, but now a federal attorney, Eric Blowers, has taken over it. So it's IFW Law Group.
IFW Law Group.
Yeah.
.com.
Yeah. Hello, Forest Park peeps. Hello to all. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about what happens when the supervisors refuse to get their paperwork started. What should they do?
Well, okay, so file a grievance, but the good news is that it's not paperwork anymore. It's electronic. Everything is e-comp. And in the old days, like it was so much fun. The first time we ever did Woodshed Night was so cool because, I'm from the country and I thought, oh, the woodshed, that's what we do. And everyone was saying, my supervisor won't fill out the forms. Well, now you don't have to worry about that because you just do it on eComp and they get an email. So all you've got to do is make sure you've got the right email address and then they get it. And then, the system takes care of the 10 days they have to complete it. But this is a woodshed night, so I can't just be nice about it. And I was asking, like, how nice should I be? And I even asked her before I started, like, on a 0 to 10 scale, what should I be? She said a 5. And I said, yeah, okay.
5, 6.
I said, okay, 7, 8. 7, 8. Joe's like, be a 3. Joe's our other partner. I can't be a 3. I'm more of a 7 and 8 guy. So let me tell you this. It's woodshed night. To the supervisors that might be watching, there might be 1 or 2 of you who are a little bit interested in being better at your job. And of the 2 of you, only 1 of you is probably serious. The other one just got here by accident because you're dumb or playing dumb. And so what happens is it's 1 page. 1 page.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to write anymore. Like some people never learned how to write in cursive because they were born like whatever the generation.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't have to write in cursive. But you don't even have to write like in like whatever is, I don't even know what non-cursive is called. You just have to be able to push buttons on a typewriter, and it's 1 page. And some supervisors still cannot get that 1 page done in 10 days. 10 days. I guarantee you, when they're on Amazon buying stuff, they can get pages and pages and pages of stuff done in 30 minutes that you all have to deliver. So it's 1 page. You only have to do this on eComp. Get the right email address and then just let them know that your email is coming and you have 10 days.
Yeah.
And if they don't get their stuff done, you do 2 things. 1, you contact your claims examiner and say, hey, I did my part. My supervisor did not do their part. And number 2, you talk to your union and tell them you want to file a grievance. Now, some of your unions are not big fans of filing grievances. Most of your unions love it. Like most of the time we go like APW, I ask for a show of hands. Who likes to file a grievance? And everyone's got 2 hands up.
Yeah.
And I love that. But not everyone is like that. But you're going to have to push it because you have to fight for yourself the way unions fight for you, right? So you fight for yourself by filing a grievance.
So before Chris continues, here's an example of what we're talking about when you file. Stephanie, I can't get my supervisor to fill out my CA1 form. It's waiting for supervisor's approval. It's been 8 days. And I think I messaged you this morning that they have 10 days, but
they have 2 more.
They have 2 more days. And
to fill out 1 piece of paper. I swear to God, they only have like 10 things to fill out on that piece of paper. And because, Stephanie, you probably told the truth, because everyone does, they don't have to say it wasn't in performance of duty, that the facts of the injury don't agree with the statement of the witness or the employee. They don't have to say it was due to willful misconduct, intoxication, or intent to injure themselves or another.
No.
They don't have to say any of that. All they have to do is go, yes, this is correct. It's so easy.
Yeah.
The problem is, because it's woodshed night, I'm just going to tell the truth. They're looking for ways to trip you up. Yes. They're looking for ways to hurt your claim. But here's what we heard from senior claims examiners for Department of Labor when I trained them. Remember that?
Yep.
Where were we? Denver?
No.
I think it was Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Rocky Mountains.
Estes Park.
Yeah, Estes Park.
Yeah.
And so a couple of senior claims examiners were there, and they're like, supervisors write this stuff, and we just roll our eyes. We just roll our eyes because we know it's crap. And that's a true story. That happened. So don't be scared of what your supervisors are going to say. Instead, I think you should just be happy. Please say something stupid. Because if you come to federal injury centers and they say something stupid, we write about it in our narrative report. We make them famous. Because our narrative reports are like 24/7 woodshed nights.
Yes. That's all I can say.
That's the way we do it.
So what do they do if they're supervisors with the OSHA and the law? There's actual law.
Yeah, you file a grievance. You contact 1-800-321-OSHA. And you say, hey, my supervisor won't let me file my claim. Is that a violation? Because OSHA says your 6th employee right is the right to report a work injury. Huh. And then on another page, they say that it's a crime to prevent you from exercising your rights under the law. So I think if your supervisor does not turn in your page or that 1 page of paper within 10 days, that I'd ask OSHA, is that a safety violation? Like, am I going to have to work hurt? That kind of sounds unsafe. And it's just a question. You're not making an accusation, but typically OSHA, who by the way are federal employees as well, and if they get hurt, they want to be treated fairly, just like you do. They're probably going to go, huh? Yeah, it's probably a violation, but you should ask.
Federal Injury Centers McAllen says if those 10 days pass the 30-day deadline to qualify for COP, will they still get COP?
Well, that's not how it works, but I like that question because
That's a good
it's kind of a good setup, so I can answer that right. You just have to report within 30 days to be eligible for 45 days of COP. If they don't do their job, it doesn't mean that you don't still have 45 days. It means they didn't do their job. So you should be able to get paid retro on your 45 days because they didn't do their job. But another woodshed point tonight is going to be on the CA16s. And
which a lot of you probably never heard of that.
So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it because Nina kind of set me up on that. What supervisors do so often, because they're either dumb or they're playing dumb, or they're just like malicious, which some of them are. Like, remember the one that didn't even help her sister?
Oh yeah, we always talk about
your
that
sister
one.
is hurt and you didn't help her.
The sister is a supervisor and the other sister is a roll carrier.
You can't even make this stuff up. Like, you got to take care of your siblings, but this person didn't. They took care of their supervisor. But the CA16 is a really common problem that's very similar to that COP comment, is that you have 7 days to report a CA1 and be eligible for a CA16 that pays 60 days of your medical bills related to the work injury. And so many supervisors will not give you the CA16. And then like 2 weeks later, you hear that there's such a thing. And you go back and you say, well, I want my CA16. And the supervisor said, well, too late. It's been more than a week. Well, that's not what the rule says.
Right.
The rule says you just have to report the injury within 7 days, not receive the form. They're supposed to give you the form within 4 hours.
Right.
So that's the next woodshed point. When your supervisor says, too bad, it's been more than 7 days, but you reported the day of, they're wrong. You're right. File agreements. Period.
Yeah. I'm going to start posting from our books. I'm going to start posting the law. And a lot of you love that when I do that because you guys share that thing over 50 times when I post one of the laws. So I'm going to start doing that again.
And 50 times is a good start. It should be 5,000.
Yeah. Because as the year is coming to an end, you guys are, not going to make it into a federal clinic because we understand you want your hours and we don't mind. But if you do get injured while you guys are working, and this goes for all agencies, still file a claim and just put it aside or call a federal injury centers and schedule a future appointment. You can do that.
Yeah.
So we have Mary. At the end of the day, we just need to contact the Federal Injury Center, not a union, because union reps is also their friends. They're all in the same boat together forever. Friendship lasts forever.
Okay, that's so Mary, I think I love bold comments because everyone that knows me knows that like I'm full of them. So thank you for that. But honestly, the union people we know, and I'm not just sucking up and I'm not pandering, but the union friends we have are powerhouses. They don't put up with that shit. And too many do, and we acknowledge that. Like way too many do. And we've heard so many stories of union folks that are friends with management.
Yeah.
And I can't verify those, but like you know them and I don't. And
we just hear it from you.
It's easy to take your word for it. But believe me when I tell you that somewhere in your local is a union rep that's a pit bull. Find that person.
You know which place we know all the stewards, because we did the training for them twice, is the Birmingham post office. The APW there.
They're awesome.
Just 2 weeks ago, we got a call from one of them. They don't tolerate crap after Chris's training. And this was like 2-3 years ago. And they still call us today and say, is this right or not?
One of them got a postmaster fired. Yes. So that's awesome. And you can do the same thing. And I don't like to see people get fired. I mean, everybody's got to provide for their family. But you screw around with our people, we screw around back.
I wait for the day when the supervisors, whoever's in charge of all the supervisors, to say, we'd like you to come train us so we can help our people.
And what's my answer to that?
They're not going to like it.
I'll do it, but you won't like it.
Yeah.
Because I'll say the same thing to them. I'm saying to you now, stop all the nonsense. Stop screwing around with the people.
Yeah,
It's nonsense.
And supervisors, postmasters, whatever you are above these union members, if you actually just help them with their claim, sign it, get it out, tell them they can go wherever they want, because that is one of the rules, and Chris is going to talk about that next. I think you'd get more from your employees than you do now, because all we hear is, I don't want to use the word itching and moaning. I didn't say the word. I said itching and moaning.
Did you say bitching?
Yeah. So we
I'll say
hear
it.
that, and if
It's woodshed night. You can say these words.
and if you can, I'm serious. Things would change. Things would turn around for you. You would see your employees do a little bit better and actually have more respect for you.
Read Sandy's question up there. I'm having a hard time seeing it, but
okay. Well, I have to read one before.
Yeah,
that.
read them both, but let's get to those before I move on.
But my point about what I was just talking about, you have to go over that role.
We just learned it.
Oh.
You just said the word that we learned during the hurricane. Period.
Oh.
So what that means, what we learned, we have 20-somethings as kids. When they say period, it means end of story.
Yeah,
We're done
it's not
talking.
the period.
We're just done.
Lori, so I filed an appeal for a Zoom meeting because they denied my claim and was supposed to hear from them in August and haven't heard a peep. I called my caseworker and whatever she is and just told me to wait. It's now October. I don't know who to contact to get this going so I can continue with my medical needs I have.
What? Let me just read that again. I'm seeing it up there. That's insane.
August to October? Is that what she said? Yeah, August.
You have to, okay, you've got to call your claims examiner and leave a voicemail. Leave a voicemail. They have to transcribe those into documents that they have to respond to. And say, hey, what the heck is going on here? You know, it's been since August. What are we doing? I know that sounds so simplistic, but the worst OWCP case I've ever been involved with that we got approved was unlocked because of that voicemail. So just do that. I'm telling you, that's going to work.
Yeah. Like Kevin Andrews said, wrongfully impeding a claim is a big no-no, and same with Dr. Bressler. It's a no-no.
That's right. You can't do that. There are laws against it. It's a crime to wrongfully impede a claim under FECA.
Sandy said, is there a way to send only the supervisor's portion of the CA2 to the supervisor, or do I have to send them the entire form with my portion filled out as well?
The whole thing, and you want that because it gives them a chance to say something stupid on the second page as a result of what you said on the first page. So it's actually a gift. They think they're hurting you. They're actually helping you. So don't worry about it. And anyways, when the email goes to them, they're going to get the entire CA1 or 2. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But you're giving them a chance to step into their own hole. And they're going to step into it. It's beautiful.
You know,
it's glorious, actually.
I'm actually giggling for 2 reasons. Well, one, by accident, when I was sharing this live, I shared it to a Shih Tzu page. I did it too fast. So that's
Shih Tzu, not Shih Supervisor?
No, Shih Tzu. And
Shih Supervisor?
The second funny thing is my LinkedIn page has about 500 postmasters and supervisors on there, and they're seeing this.
You know what's funny is like somebody, there's been so many of them. It's probably Jerry. I can't remember. Jennifer Turnbull, maybe. But somebody coined the term stupidvisor.
And Victor.
Well, he for sure. He didn't coin it.
Jennifer from AFGE and then Victor from APW.
But a lot of people say stupidvisor. I don't say that. I just repeat other people's words. But I think shit supervisor is funny.
That's funny.
Because it's like we have a Shih Tzu dog.
Yeah.
And he kind of is the supervisor.
He actually is.
He's shit supervisor.
Okay.
Take what you want from that. It's woodshed night. We can say these things.
Dina, my doctor trying to get an MRI approved, and it's been over 2 weeks. What should I do?
Well, I'll tell you what we do. We make, I almost said deals. That sounds awful. We communicate to MRI facilities and explain to them, specialists, like surgeons,
yeah,
those kinds of specialists, but we're talking about imaging. And we say, look, if you do the imaging and hold your bill until the claim is accepted, you'll get paid 100%. Does that sound good or good? And it always sounds good because imaging centers are typically used to taking like half of their bill on a personal injury case from a car wreck. And that happens in a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
And so we say, hey, look, this year you can be paid 100%, but all you have to do is don't ask for money or the insurance card. And every time we do that, they say, oh, okay. And then, like, to sweeten it, 97% of our claims are already approved. So 97% of the time, you'll get paid 100%. Trust me when I tell you that math is awesome for imaging centers. And that's how we get imaging centers to say, okay, yeah, we'll help all your people. No problem, no money. That's how it should be.
We have Federal Injury Centers of Kansas City and St. Louis on tonight.
What's up? St. Louis is their newest office. Yes. We're so excited. So now they're on both sides of the state. Pick a side.
Tanya said, I haven't been able to find that Pitbull union rep in my Greenville, South Carolina office. Maybe you should be that.
Yeah. And so
a lot of people that are getting our training, they're like, I should be a steward now. You should.
I like that. So, and a lot of people that come here are really motivated, right? They're motivated people in the unions and they want to see their unions thrive. And so I think you're probably the perfect person to become a steward because I bet you'll be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, no problem. You just got to keep searching out for the pit bull. They're there somewhere.
What is her name? I lost them.
Oh, and also you're in Greenville. So go talk to Wendy and Beth in our Greenville office because they probably know who the pit bull is.
Yeah. Katie says, if we are out on restrictions, is it true OWCP will not increase our wage compensation when we receive cost of living increases and step raises? They told me I'm frozen at my wage from a year ago, November. My route has also increased. My salary is now $6,000 more than it was in November 23.
So I'm an expert at OWCP, not in your wages. With that said, the union friends that I have, including Rich in New York and all the other ones, have told me that when there's a blanket increase across the board, everybody gets a 3% increase. You also get that. Outside of that, you're going to be stuck at your pre-injury salary until you're back at work full time.
We have FIC of South Bend, Indiana on.
Go Irish.
All right, let's go to the next law, Chris.
Well, what's the next topic you want to talk about? I'm just kidding. I was like, we always play Stump the Chump, but I get to be the chump. I'm not calling her. She's not a chump for sure.
I'm a stump. You're a chump.
Well, you're short, but you're not a stump, baby.
It's like, I forgot what that cartoon was called. They were
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
It's not Stumpy. Run and Stumpy.
Yeah. All right. Next.
So, all right. The things your supervisors do are maddening and like more to you than to me. For me, I feel like I just have all the solutions and you need them. But we talked about CA-16s. But the other thing that really stresses people out is how do I get paid when I'm out of work?
Right.
Continuation of pay. And what I see supervisors doing all the time, like you all come on and go, my supervisor did this. What do I do about it? Here's what the this is. In box 15, letter A, you elect continuation of pay. On a CA1, where you reported the injury well within time, which is 30 days, right, to get COP. It's 7 days for a CA-16, 30 days for COP. I don't know why that. It should all be 7 days, yes, whatever, or make it all 30 days, whatever. But what'll happen is you'll report your CA1 within 30 days. You'll elect COP in box 15A, and then they'll take your sick and annual leave. And I get people telling me all the time, what do I do about it? Well, the union friends I know say that all you have to do is just go recode it to COP.
Yeah.
I don't understand why supervisors don't want you to have continuation of pay, except that they're trying to force you, pressure you, stress you out until you come back to work. But the problem is, and we have supervisors as patients.
And we have some of them as friends, like John Reverend.
We do. Actually, there's a handful that we really love.
We have a handful of friends, supervisors.
And they don't treat people like this, but too many of them do. So, like, what do I do when I elected COP and they just took my sick and annual leave? Do I have to do leave buyback when I deserved and was owed COP, right? Mm-hmm. So here's what we've been told from union reps. And you'll need help from the union. And if you're a union rep here, you're who I'm talking to. You need to go and have management recode it to COP. Well, I don't like it. Well, number 25 and the 25 things you can do to win an OWCP is forget your supervisor's feelings. Nobody cares.
We say that all the time.
You shouldn't care. I don't care. Your union shouldn't give a damn. Who cares? Like, whatever. Your supervisors are being jerks. You elected COP. Guess what the law says? If you report a CA1 injury within 30 days, you are eligible for up to 45 calendar days of time off. Now, at federal injury centers, we want you to go back to work now because this is a Chrisism, things Chris says all the time. The surest way to get paid is to clock in. I'm not the company doctor. I think you've heard me tonight say enough bad things about management to know I'm not your supervisor's friend. I don't care about them at all, and they don't like me even a little bit. But I care about you, and getting back to work is how you get paid. Like, that's the surest way. You don't have to jump through hoops. You just clock in. But when you need to be out of work with continuation of pay, COP, you're eligible for up to 45 calendar days of time off. Management frequently says sick time, vacation time. Well, that's not fair, and that's not the rules. But what I'm hearing from union reps, and if you're a union rep here, you can confirm this or say, no, here, Chris, let me correct you. Here's what you do. But what I've heard is just go in and recode it. Recode it to COP. I don't know what's in it for management not to give you COP. Like, what are they losing when you get continuation of pay?
They're just being dirty.
But what do they personally lose?
Right. No, I get that.
If I'm your supervisor and I prevent you from getting COP, what do I gain?
I'm taking you to the woodshed.
Well, and I deserve it.
Right.
Get a 2x6. 2x4 is not big enough for me.
Okay.
If I do that. Anyways, that's a teaching point. And I hope there's a supervisor here that knows that one day it's going to be you.
Yeah. Again, supervisors, if you want us to come train you, we will.
But okay, I will, and you'll not like it. But one day it'll be you. You will be the supervisor who got hurt. And you'll wonder, who's going to screw me over the way I screwed everybody over? Because you'll probably have it coming, but guess what will happen when you come to my office? I'll flinch a little bit. I'll be like, oh, you're a supervisor, but we do the rules right, as you should, and we'll still help you, and we'll make sure things go well for you. But you should do that for your people too. And am I getting any comments on this? Like, this is something I would expect a lot of people to go, yeah,
well,
look.
Yeah, we have questions.
If it's a supervisor, it's going to hurt them too.
Emma, you said, is there a limit on how many appeals you can do on a claim? Every time you get a denial, you can. That's it. If you've gotten 15 denials, you can file an appeal 15 times. So as long as you do it before the date that it expires. Is that right? Expires?
Are you saying reconsideration?
Yeah, expires.
Which is how long?
12 months.
12 months. Look at her.
I know. I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Nobody's heard me talk about this stuff more than her. So, and by the way, the other thing that's funny to me, this is for you. It's what should not for you. People will message her and they'll say, well, how do you know?
I know. Like,
or well, let me
making it up.
Or they'll say, no, let me talk to that girl on Wednesday night chats.
I am the girl.
She's the girl. She's the girl every time.
Mary said, all they want is their bonus money.
Okay,
they don't want to help. They think we are all idiots. Poor us. Thank you, Federal Injury Centers. God bless you.
Well, you're not idiots. They're playing like it. And I'd like to see the bonus structure in writing. Wouldn't you all? I want to know, what is the bonus that they receive for you not having an injury claim?
I mean, you cannot prevent it.
And I'm not saying I want to be very clear. I am not saying that they get bonused. What I'm saying is, if they get bonused, I want to see it.
Yeah, we know of a girl. The LLV caught on fire. She called her supervisor, and tell them, Chris, what did the supervisor tell her to do?
Quick, run into the burning vehicle and get the packages out. What the hell?
And so she wound up getting injured. She did it.
Inhalation, back injury. Unbelievable.
And when OSHA tried to go find the LLV, it mysteriously
was gone.
Disappeared. Like, now, no joke. This is a true story.
Now, USPS, I want to be very clear. We're just recounting somebody else's account of this. Somebody else told us that the LLV went missing. I did not personally go on
we don't know.
Investigational hunt for this LLV, but I think it's interesting that somebody said it was gone and that person was in a position to know. Anyways, I didn't say that. They did. I just repeated it.
Todd said, my station manager and supervisor wrote false statements trying to get my OWCP claim denied. USPS, I think their higher ups tell them to do that.
Don't forget what I said. The senior claims examiners at DOL roll their eyes at management. They don't care. They're They have your back. You know why? They are also federal employees. And if it happens to them, they don't want to get screwed over the way management tries to screw you over.
Nope. Scott said, after 4 shoulder surgeries, I'm being medically discharged from the Air Marshal Service. Obviously, they cannot find a reasonable accommodation. How much slack can I anticipate from DOL? I have young children, and it's my understanding that I can stay on OWCP until they reach 24, as long as they are full-time students. Is this true? What outside work requirements?
Scott,
Thanks.
when we play Stump the Chump, it actually never happens.
You stumped him, Scott.
However,
And he's an air marshal. That's so cool.
so I'm not saying I'm stumped. What I'm saying is, in all of my years doing this, which is more years than anybody else has ever done it, I've never heard anything about being able to stay on OWCP till your kids are of a certain age. Like, I understand what that means because, like, our kids get to stay on our health insurance and our auto insurance till a certain age, unless they're in college, and
Right.
then the age has changed. So I haven't looked that up, but I'm going to look this up for you, Scott, because I've never heard it before. So will you do me a favor and just copy and paste that to an email
Okay.
so I can ask Eric?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my my go-to lawyer, Eric.
His email a friend, not phone a friend.
I have
email a friend.
I'm going to get you this answer, Scott, and then I'm going to send it to you in a message on Messenger by Facebook.
Yeah, Scott, when after this show is over, go ahead and send me the same question. Just copy and paste it and put it into the messenger, and I will copy and paste it to Chris. And
yeah, I'm going to get
that's
this
it.
answer, but it's interesting. We've been doing Wednesday night chat since 2016, and nobody's ever mentioned this. Nobody's
No.
ever said that, you know, this is going to happen and I can keep my kids on until so. I've never even heard this before, and if I haven't heard it, that's interesting to me. But I will find the answer for you.
Sandy,
you'll get that answer.
Sandy says, anyone from Jacksonville FIC on here? I don't see anybody yet, but that's with Dr. Steflik, but we can answer your question for their office. So
But with that said, for those of you in Jacksonville, and my old Jacksonville office may be on here listening, which is why I'm going to say this. The new guy, Dr. Steflik, is a freaking killer. He's a winner.
He is.
He is an OWCP assassin.
He's a young doctor, and he wants to do as much as he can to help you guys.
He's unbelievable. Like, I can keep using words like unbelievable assassin, freaking killer, but he really is. He's crushing it already. He is so all in and motivated. So if you're in Jacksonville and you had a bad experience at our previous office who wasn't a straight up assassin, killer, OWCP warrior, I'm sorry about that. We do our best. This guy is, and hallelujah.
Yeah. All right, next roll. I gave you the book.
So she handed me one of my books. She was worried I was going to forget rolls.
Yeah, just in case.
So this one came up. Did you know you can choose your own doctor?
I didn't.
So this is interesting to me because I know, obviously, and the rules say this in like 4 different places. But when I go to union events, like we were just at Florida APW, right? And I said, hey, just raise your hand. Who's ever heard your supervisor say you have to go to the doctor they send you to? And everybody in the room raised their hand. I'm like, does that seem weird to you? Do you have to go where management tells you to go? Do they have your best interest at heart ever? And the answer is usually no, right?
Right.
Well, the rules are so funny, they let you choose your own doctor. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That you can choose your own doctor? So why is that important? All right, let me get serious for a second. Those of you that follow us and you see us all the time, you know that I say this. Statistically, 14% of federal employees have accepted injury claims. That's not 14% of injuries. It's 14% of everybody. But the other thing I ask is, well, okay, what percentage of you do you think are actually hurt? And we always settle on 50, but I hear 60, 70, everybody. So we settle on half. Okay, if half of the people are hurt and 14% have accepted claims, what's happening to the other 36%?
Right.
2/3 of you are getting denied claims or not having claims accepted. That's awful. And that's happening because you're going to doctors who are idiots. And we know because we've kicked idiots out of our franchise and we prevented idiots from joining our franchise. And we know that most doctors are lazy. Most doctors don't want to do the work that it takes to get your claims accepted. We've had, as I said earlier, over 6,000 accepted claims. So we have doctors that want to do it. But your supervisors are trying to send you to people that don't care. Therefore, 14% of people have accepted claims. At federal injury centers, 97% of people have accepted claims. 1497. So, should you go to the doctor that your supervisor tells you to go to?
I wouldn't, unless it's an FIC that the
And,
supervisor says.
and if you're like Genie and you go to a casino and you like roulette because it's the worst odds in the house, but all you got to do is pick a number.
And I always win.
I'm pulling for you. You might be in the 14%, but usually you won't be.
Right.
So all joking aside, you get to pick your own doctor. And the reason that is you have a fighting chance to find somebody who knows what they're doing. You go to the urgent care that your supervisor sends you to, no medical doctor countersigns the report. Denied. You go to the ER, no doctor at all writes a report. Denied. You go to an orthopedic surgeon because your buddy next door at your workstation said your sprained ankle needs an orthopede. And the doc goes, oh, I'll take your health insurance. Thank you so much. I'm not going to write a report. I just do surgeries. Denied. You pick your family practice doctor because everybody likes a family practice doctor. That's why you tell everybody that's where they should go. But that person's not trained. You work for the VA. And these world-class VA doctors are not trained in OWCP. Denied. So you have to pick your own doctor. But here's what the rule says in 3 different places. The CA-10 says you have the right to initial selection of physician. That means you can choose your own doctor. The CA-810 says nobody can get in the way of that right to choose. And then the Code of Federal Regulations says your supervisor is required to tell you it's your right to choose.
Yep.
And the CA-810 also says you can't be forced to go to a doctor that's employed by or contracted with your agency, which screams VA. You cannot be forced to go somewhere you don't want to go. But your supervisors all the time tell you, you have to go here. And you follow the crowd because everybody else did it too. And you think you have to do it. But the law is clear. You can choose your own doctor. They can't get in the way of that choice. And they have to tell you it's your choice. So management doesn't. So they go behind the woodshed for this because they're causing you to have 14% accepted claims. And if you just chose federal injury centers, you'd be in the 97th percentile, not the 14.
And we know there's lots of states that still don't have federal injury centers. So always just
working on it.
Google OWCP doctor near, Tampa, whatever city, and see what comes up. And I always used to say this when we first started, when you're calling these non-FIC offices, you should ask to speak to the biller and ask them, do you take federal work comp? Because here's what's going to happen, because we've called some. Yeah, we take it. Well, you know what they take? They take state workers comp and not federal workers comp.
Wildly different.
The biller of all people in that office is going to know if they take federal work comp versus state work comp, or some of them take both.
Yeah. And just by the way, I don't care if you get this book, but this book, the 25 things you can do to win in OWCP, I wrote it for those of you that don't have a federal injury center's office, because if you follow all 25 steps, you can get your own claim accepted.
Right.
And when we do our training, which we're doing on October 27th on a Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m.
And we're going to go in detail more with these codes and rules and laws.
So the purpose of that is for those of you who don't have federal injury center's doctors, you can get your own claim accepted. That's why I do it. When we go train at union events, what am I talking about? Here's how you get your own claim accepted.
Yeah, regardless if there's a FIC there or not.
Yeah, I want you to win with or without me. With me, it's a lot easier. Without me, it's hard, but not impossible, because you're not actually without me. You just get the book or listen to the training.
Mary Brown, she says, I already have an approved OWCP claim. I have permanent disability on both hands and cannot do my job within my restrictions. Can I apply for disability?
You absolutely can. Now, I hate talking about disability. I wrote about it in one of my books, and so because it's relevant and it's important. But your first year of disability, you only get 60% of your previous income. Your second year through retirement, you only get 40%. The upside is you can also get a non-federal job at the same time and make up to 80%. So technically, in year 2, you could be making 120% of your previous income. You're just not a federal employee. You don't have your same federal benefits, but you're making more money potentially than you were making before within restrictions that your doctor can set for you so you can do it. You can qualify for disability. You got to apply for Social Security. You don't have to qualify for Social Security. You just have to apply. And you need a doctor who can write a great narrative report that explains why you're disabled. And what a lot of you need to understand is you don't have to have a work injury to file for federal disability. You just have to have become disabled during the course of your federal employment, not as a result of your federal employment. That's really important. Most people don't know that.
She also said, I have an approved claim in permanent restrictions. Does OWCP affect retirement? I can't do my normal duties due to my injuries. Is that grounds for disability retirement?
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it depends on your craft and your agency. But for example, inside the Postal Service, a city carrier gets 1 year, a rural carrier gets 2. In all other cases, rural carriers usually get the short end of the stick. So you got to know what your craft allows and what your agency allows. And the best way to do that is talk to your union, because your union reps absolutely know the answer.
Tanya said, my case will not allow me back in the plant, and Wendy is awesome. I have 3 cases. Oh, Wendy. She's the best.
Yeah, and I'm sorry you're not allowed back in the plant, but your situation is like the previous person. Do your best, follow your doctor's orders, get better as soon as humanly possible. And if not, you have options. Some people can be on permanent restrictions until the end of time. It depends on your workstation, your supervisors, and so forth. Other people have to go on disability, and I hate that for sure. I don't like it, but you have options. But your union's going to have to help facilitate that.
There's a cute thing. We know of an 89-year-old, and this happened, I think, in 2016 when we first started, or 2017, and he still needed therapy. 89 years old, and he's still on work comp, and he was so happy he could do his therapy 3 times a week. So take that as an advantage. Dr. Rue from Federal Injury Centers of Gilbert, Arizona is on.
Right outside of Phoenix. What's up, Dr. Rue?
Katie says, thank you. Our COLA was back in March and they never added it. I will nag my reps.
Good. So I have one more role that I want to be able to talk about here that the supervisors always get people jammed up with, and then we'll finish up with questions because we're coming up on the end of the hour. But one of the things that really frustrates me and should frustrate you is you're allowed to have claims accepted by OWCP that didn't happen in a single shift. That's what a CA2 is for. Anything that develops over time, like carpal tunnel syndrome or osteoarthritis of the knee or low back pain, and it's not because of a specific incident where you lifted something or stepped off a curb or whatever, but it just develops over time. And it happened because you're a federal employee doing a very hard job that the professional athletes we know would not do. And they say, I would not do that job. And it's hard for you. And so it develops over time. And your supervisors say, well, too late. Too late. You can't report that injury. But did you know you have 3 years to report an injury?
3 years. And that is definitely true.
Well, Chris, you just said 7 days to get a CA16 and 30 days to get COP. Those are true. But you can miss the 7-day window and the 30-day window and still get help as long as you report your injury within 3 years. And for those CA2 injuries that developed over time, it's 3 years from when you knew it was work-related. And most of you won't know that till your doctor says so. So you could be limping around for 2 years. Your doctor says, well, don't you carry the MEL? Yeah. Well, okay, it's work-related. Yep. Well, now you still have 3 years to report, which means report tomorrow, but don't wait 3 more years, but you have it. What's frustrating is there's so many of you, way too many of you, that are limping around, struggling lifting things over their head. You can't pick up boxes, and you're struggling to make it through the next work shift because you need to make your next rent payment. And you don't realize that you can still get help. You can get better because you have 3 years. But your supervisors are saying, well, you only had 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks, 30 days. None of that is true. If you're somebody who is limping around, struggling to do your job, having extreme anxiety and depression because you're worried you're not going to be able to make it through your next work shift, there is help for you. The Code of Federal Regulations and the United States Code both make it clear that you have 3 years to report an injury. And they go further and they make it clear that for latent conditions, in other words, CA2, 3 years from when you were reasonably aware that it was work-related. So if you're somebody that thinks there's no hope, there's hope. You probably haven't exceeded the 3-year window. So what you do is just go to eComp, fill out eComp and create an account and do a CA1 or CA2. I don't care if it was 2.5 years ago. If you got hurt in a single shift, do a CA1. I don't care if it was 4 years ago. You just realized that you have a CA2. Fill out a CA2. You can get those claims accepted. We have 97% acceptance rate, including your old claims, including your denied claims, including claims your supervisor said were impossible.
Right.
It's impossible for them, including claims that your previous doctor couldn't figure out. We don't care about that. We'll figure it out. But what you have to do is report. You got to go to your supervisor, say this happened, and you got to go to eComp and fill out the forms. If you do that, you give yourself a fighting chance to win. You still have time to get better so you can make it to retirement. That's what we want for you.
I'm gonna ask this question because Amy J, and it goes along with what Chris just talked about. How about with the CA2 getting paid? Does management have any say or control on my sick and annual?
Well, I mean, do they have say and control? I mean, you get to decide if you use sick or annual. So you have that. And you also get to use LWOP, leave without pay. When your claim's accepted, LWOP is your right as a federal employee, leave without pay. You don't have to use sick or annual. You just fill out a CA7 claim for compensation and maybe like a time analysis form, CA7A, and get paid for your time off. And you can even go back and get paid for time off way long time ago now that your claim is accepted. That's why they give you 3 years. You have a right to go back and get all your benefits that you lost. Don't let management bully you into believing you can't.
Right. Your mic is like in your face.
Yeah, so is yours. It's beautiful.
No, I mean, like, people can't see you. They see
That's
your mouth
okay.
moving.
You don't got to see me. All you got to do is hear me.
Tammy says, can one retire while on OWCP and stay on OWCP and not draw their annuity until released by the doctor? 59 years old with 30 years.
Yeah, so your OWCP gives you lifetime medical. If you're not working, you're retired, you're not going to get lifetime, pay,
Right.
but you can be helped medically lifetime.
Yes.
I do have one more thing
Yeah.
that I can't leave. I have 3 minutes. I have to do this.
Okay.
Stop
We're not going to end at 9.
Stop taking limited duty assignments under protest.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. Stop taking limited duty assignments under protest. Your supervisors are putting this thing in front of you and go sign. And if you don't sign it, we're going to pull it back and you won't have it anymore.
Right.
Stop taking limited duty assignments under protest. The Code of Federal Regulations says that the supervisor has to give it to you in writing and your claims examiner. Your claims examiner reviews it, and if they agree, they tell you, we think this is a valid limited duty offer. Go show it to your doctor. You have 30 days.
Yep.
You don't have to sign under protest. The rule says you have 30 days to accept or deny. And if you deny it and the claims examiner says, no, we don't think so, they'll give you another 2 weeks to re-review it with your doctor. That's almost 45 days.
Yeah.
And this one really frustrates me because so many people are saying, and they've always said this to me, well, we've just been told by our unions that we have to sign under protest. And I just said, oh, well, that's what your unions say. So that's probably right. And then in the last year, I decided to go look it up. And I found 3 places in the law that says something totally opposite. It goes to your claims examiner. Your claims examiner notifies you. You notify your doctor, and you have up to 30 days to get back to your supervisor. So don't sign under protest. Instead, show them the rules.
Yeah.
Show them the rules. So that one's really important because too many of you are getting boxed in and you're going back to work in a very unsafe situation because management doesn't know how to match your CA17 up with the limited duty offer.
Yep.
And that's dangerous for you. So don't let it happen.
Debbie, we are still having the big training and it is on the 27th of October because you said, or is it canceled due to the hurricane? So far,
well, thankfully the hurricane left.
Jim Cantor and Dennis Phillips,
Stay
they all
away.
said that there's no more hurricanes coming. There's some spaghetti models, but nope, we're still doing it. Even if it's a category 2, we're still going to do it.
Yeah, we'll do it during a low hurricane, but if it gets like category 4 and 5, we're out of here.
Yeah, so it is. So those of you that are wondering what we're talking about, if you didn't know, October 27th, we are having our national OWCP training. This is the same training we do at national conventions and state conventions. and the reason we're not going in depth today with all the rules, laws, and regulations is because we're going to do it on Sunday, the 27th. He's going to have it, and you'll be able to see it on our projector. All right. Deborah Hurd said, hello, guys. As I told you guys several times before, you are helpful, and the USPS are the worst people to me. And all they know how to do is continue to keep doing illegal, unjustified, discriminatory actions to me. Thank the Lord for you guys. Well,
So-
that is really sweet.
And thank you. But you can also contact law enforcement. If they're breaking the law, who do you talk to? So remember that.
You can call OSHA, law enforcement.
DOJ, OIG,
We've heard
all the three-letter
those three
words.
places.
Yeah, I like it.
Or contact your national too.
Yeah. They have strong people up there.
Manor. I hope I'm saying your name right. I went to their second opinion doctor. He didn't examine me. After a 2-minute conversation, he said my doctor was a joke and I should have chose someone better and I need to go back to work. He spoke so negatively about federal injury centers. That was a second opinion doctor.
That's awesome. Yeah. So
That's funny.
Unfortunately, their job is kind of to kill cases, and I don't put much stock in it. Sadly, if I could take control of the second opinion system, it'd be way different.
Tess said, yes, I did COP and all my vacation is about to be used up and no one can explain it.
I think your union can. They just need to get in there and look at it. One thing I've been told by union reps is when it comes to union activity, the union reps, like stewards, are equal to management. So I think they can get in there and say, let me see the logs. That's what I've been told.
Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to move this. We're scrolling. And we're going a little longer tonight only because we want to answer all these questions. And next Wednesday.
And it's woodshed night. This is fun.
Yeah. Next Wednesday, we will be in a plane at this time traveling to McKinney, Texas.
McAllen, Texas.
Yeah. Whatever. What did I say?
McKinney.
Oh, that's not even close, is it?
Not even a little bit.
All right.
There we go.
Amy J. Management put 8 hours for my day work, but I'm really a 9 hour 40-minute. They want to change it to my 9 hours and 40 minutes on my new CA-17.
That's a union thing, man. You got to, sorry, Amy, you need to get with your union and get help.
Todd said they do it on purpose for USPS, no repercussions, and grievance gets settled 3 months down the line. That carrier still lost out on that money for the time.
So I always say OWCP is not about fairness. This is not fair, but you have the steps you have. You gotta just take it to the max. Your union has got to file the grievance and do the work. I hate that. It's not an answer I like, but I think it's the answer.
Oh, this is a cute name. Queen Apple. How do I cancel health insurance premiums?
Okay, so that's not OWCP.
Yeah.
However, I used to do things among the things I did was HR, and you do it by telling HR.
Cat Williams said 30 years on work comp. Do I get retirement? If so, from who? OPM says no.
Well, I mean, I guess you get retirement based on being at retirement age, but if you're on work comp and not working for 30 years, your retirement's not going to be what it would have been if you weren't on work comp.
Yeah. Robert Delude said, by doing content for FIC, I've learned so many things about what they go through, and it makes me sick. Thank God for FIC.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah, that was really sweet. Amy said, does OWCP pay the insurance, medical, dental, vision when out by the doctor's order from a CA2? I may be out for 2 to 3 months.
No, but you need to arrange to make sure that's paid because you could lose it.
Juana says, thank you for training doctors, especially Dr. Ron McMorris in Louisiana. He has been and still working on my case nonstop. Yeah, Dr. McMorris he's a little badass.
He is. He's a baddie. We like him.
So Queen Apple, yeah, that.
I just like that name.
Yeah, I know. Maria said, a lot of doctors don't realize what we do for work. I'm going to print out my job description and put it in my file.
So I like that. In fact, all of you that go to a federal injury center's doctor or your own doctor should take your job description to them just in case, because our doctors are trained to put your job description physical demands in their narrative report. So that's a smart idea. Thank you, Maria.
Stephanie said, is it 10 working days for supervisors to respond or calendar days?
Working days. Great question. Working days. Sundays don't count, although many of you work on Sunday.
Miss John, OWCP sent me for a second opinion with an OWCP doctor for my shoulder surgery, and he said I have reached MMI. In response to the question of how long restrictions will apply, he said, unknown, probably permanent, with less range of motion. Am I eligible for disability retirement or do I need to appeal for surgery? What is the best option? OWCP sends me back to work with restrictions.
Well, you don't appeal for surgery. That's the doctor's job, not yours. But the second opinion doctor says you're at MMI. Truthfully, that doesn't mean you are. It just means they said it. Your doctor can come back over the top with a great narrative report and explain why you're not and how surgery would put you at MMI and you'd be all better. So that's if surgery helps. And I'm not saying it would be because I'm not a doctor, but if your doctor thinks it will, they need to write a report explaining that. And, I think a lot of claims examiners are going to say, okay, then let's do surgery. Let's get you better.
Miss Tate said, my supervisor hasn't responded to my case yet. However, she called me to sign a 24.99 to come to work for an hour, and the doctor has me off with restrictions. Is this allowed?
I mean, it's allowed if you allow it, but if your doctor says don't go to work and your supervisor says come to work and you're only going for an hour, but in that hour you're not doing anything, so you're technically within your restrictions, you're probably okay unless your restrictions say no driving.
Yeah.
So that's a problem too. So they'll trip you up. I don't think there's a problem with you going to work for an hour if you're not doing anything outside of your restrictions, even if your restrictions say no work.
Yeah.
Like when you're at home, you get to like walk to your kitchen, you know,
Yeah.
and turn the TV on. So you could do things equivalent to walk to your kitchen and turn the TV on at work for 1 hour, I guess. But don't exceed your restrictions, whatever you do.
And here's another good tip. Don't be scared of your managers or your postmasters or these supervisors.
Yep.
Why are you so scared? We hear this all the time.
They're just people just like you.
I want to file my claim, but I'm scared they may fire me. I'm scared they're going to say this. Number one, anybody in the post office is not a doctor. They cannot tell you if your injury is an injury or not an injury. I mean, unless they have some telescopic eyes.
And what does number 25 say?
I don't know.
Forget your
Oh,
supervisor's
yeah,
feelings.
That. Don't be scared.
Who cares?
Always file your claim, no matter what. Can a second opinion doctor reverse your permanent restrictions from the federal injury centers?
Yes, they can do it. But the way that happens is if their report is greater than our report, which doesn't happen often.
Debbie, if you get a Form 20 from federal injury centers, do I still have to do a form to change treating physician?
Yeah, CA20 has nothing to do with change of treating physician. So yeah, you'd still have to do that.
Carissa Smith, how do I get a stress claim approved from supervisors harassment, bullying, and retaliation due to your work comp claim and restrictions? That's a great question.
So you have to have a mental health doctor, like a psychiatrist, psychologist, who can do causation, who can link the condition to the employment. That's what it takes. It's like a back injury. You have to be able to link the herniated disc to lifting the box, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same deal. You just have to have a mental health doctor who can write that report.
Tanya said, my psych case is the reason I can't return. I do have permanent injuries to both hands, wrist. OWCP doesn't pay enough. Can I get disability?
Yes, you can get disability if you apply and you are granted disability. Often it requires a lawyer, which sucks because like 40% of disability claims are just automatically denied. That's not my stat. It's a stat I heard from a lawyer once. But you ask, can I? And the answer is yes, you can. You are a federal employee. You can qualify for OPM, which is the Office of Personnel Management disability. If you follow all the steps, go to opm.gov and you can look that up.
Tina, we have several. Well, no. Yeah. We have an office in McAllen, Texas. I don't know how far you are well, you said you're in El Paso because you leave for Phoenix tomorrow.
El Paso's a long way from McAllen.
Oh.
It's closer to Phoenix.
I said, great job. I appreciate you both. Thank you, Miss Tate. My supervisor tried to make me sign a limited duty. I went to a union who told me to request a review. I did, and I sent it home without pay for 2 weeks. I filed a grievance. That's now 2 years old. I contacted my caseworker, and oh boy, It was a ride and a lot of paperwork, but ended up in another case.
Oh, brother.
All right, let's see. We're almost to the end, and then we're gonna sign off. Ah,
Don't hit that right button. Hit the left button.
okay, go with the glasses now. Oh my god, I hate computers.
Hit the left side
It's
of the
not
mouse.
working when I did it.
Well, yeah, because you started by hitting the right side of the mouse. You hit the right button.
Okay, let's see.
When you hit the right button, it's like copy, paste, select, other things.
Oh, there's a lot of people on tonight. A lot of new faces.
Yeah, we would love that.
Okay, here we go. Great info. I appreciate the two of you. So, second opinion doctor gave the restrictions, but postmaster said she doesn't have anything. Now what?
No, well, now you stay home and you get paid. They have by rule they're supposed to do whatever it takes and make their best effort possible to find a limited duty assignment within your restrictions. If they can't find that, then you're at home and you get paid to be home with the CA7 on LWAP.
Kristen said my coworker has been off work since June of 24 and hasn't been paid because DOL keeps saying she has to provide something showing why she's not working.
Well, yeah, so
Absolutely.
you can't just turn in a CA7 and say, please pay me, because now we're all just taking a vacation. Instead, you need documentation from your doctor that explains why you're off of work medically.
Okay. This is what Tanya said, and we're going to get into this another day. The fear that management will mistreat you, tamper with your hours and money. Yes, you can go to the union and fight, but all that takes time. Meanwhile, your money is short. That's why people are afraid most of the time.
So that's true, and I agree 100%, no argument. However, if you don't fight, they keep doing this to you. And you all should be fighting together, not one by one. Just know it's going to happen to you too if you ever get hurt. Everyone should be rowing in the same direction on this. That's why I love unions, because you can all fight together.
Now my phone lost all the questions. Oh my gosh. At the end. Okay. Thank you for all you do for us postal workers. You're welcome. Made it right under the Dr. David Dorfman. He said made it right under the wire.
What's up, Dave? Dave's in Melbourne. Dr. Dorfman. Sorry. Dr. Dorfman's a really good friend of mine. I find myself calling him Dave because we're good friends, but I'm telling you, he's a friend of yours too. He's in Melbourne, Florida. He's in Orlando, Florida. On top of just being a first-class guy, he's a freaking great practitioner, and he's a claims acceptance machine. So go see him.
Miss John, are you guys planning on opening an office in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Eventually, yes.
I love San Antonio.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas, and San Antonio is the funnest place in Texas.
Do you have an office in Dallas? Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Archuleo.
And Dr. Archuleo started with us in Chicago, Illinois. He is another claims acceptance machine, and he's opening up in Dallas. You're all very welcome.
Yeah, if anybody wants the case manager to give you a call and start your claim, you can go ahead and message me. That his case manager is
Jason.
Jason. He's also the case manager for his Chicago office too.
Awesome. You will absolutely get your claim accepted.
All right, we came to the end of our questions, and we just wanted to wrap things up again. We are not going to be here next Wednesday as we are flying to McAllen, Texas for an open house meet and greet.
If you want to meet us on the border, that's where we'll be. On the border.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to be. So those of you in the McAllen, Texas area, if you are there next Thursday from 6:30 to 9, I think, come out, say hello to us. Chris is doing a 30-minute mini OWCP training for everybody.
It won't feel mini. It'll just be mini in minutes.
And you don't have to worry, because that following Sunday, because we were there the 24th, 25th, we come home, 26th, we prepare and get everything ready for October 27th from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern time for our first annual OWCP National Convention with Chris and Gini. And a shout out to James Lewis and Robert Delude for coming down and helping us get all set up. So this is like perfect for you guys. Perfect 3-hour training. We are going to have some of our staff as well on to answer some of the questions, as it's going to be coming over on Zoom. You guys saw the flyer. Go ahead and scan the QR code or register. If you still need a PDF for that, please message me your email. I will get that out to you first thing tomorrow morning. And then after our OWCP training, we head off to Virginia for 3 days to train DECA, the commissary for AFGE. We're looking forward to that.
So listen, if you're on the fence about whether or not you're going to attend our OWCP training on the 27th,
You should get off the fence.
yeah, let me just tell you, if you're a union steward, a vice president, a president, secretary, somebody that
A union official.
a union official, and you want to make massive changes, improvements to your local, this is where you start, because most of you don't realize that probably your biggest problem is work injuries. A lot of you think that your problem is like, I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to start. Okay. Like I know you have a lot more to deal with than just OWCP, but the fact that your workforce is not able to work is a serious problem. And the fact that your workforce is not able to get paid is a serious problem. Your workforce being harassed by management is a serious problem. And you getting your people to me will solve that problem for you. And wow, Chris, you're really cocky. Yeah, I've never been accused of not being cocky, but I happen to be, I think, the best in the world at this. And you're going to have a 3-hour window into how to fix this. And all you got to do is show up.
Yeah.
And so I really like you to just make it happen. You are a union official in your local or your state or your region, and you can make it happen. So we've got the flyer out there. There's a QR code. You can register. But this is, I assure you, the best thing you will ever learn in OWCP. It's what I do when I'm live in person with big audiences. And I've never done one of these where the audience didn't unanimously say, this is the best thing I've ever been taught in OWCP.
Yeah.
And you have OWCP reps who are fantastic. Okay. I know just about all of them. I like and respect just about all of them. Okay. Everyone that I know. It's not that you don't have the resource. You just don't have this resource.
Right.
And we're giving it to you for free. No strings attached. No catch. We're not going to say, and now go to federal injury centers.
Right.
Or now buy a book. We're not going to do any of that. I'm literally going to start. I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach for 3 hours. And I'm going to stop. You will not get sold. So get your people to this training. They need it.
You get a paper and a pen. Like Carly, she is a vice president out in Redding, California for APW.
She's awesome.
They are organizing at their union hall to put us on their TV, and they're just going to have a great night with all their members at this union hall watching us. So
for them, it's like morning to afternoon, right?
Right.
They're West Coast.
Yeah. So
they're getting stuff done early. And if you're on the West Coast, you should do the same thing.
This training will not be on our social media pages after it's done.
Yeah, we're not recording it.
Yeah,
it's going to disappear because I want you there.
And on top of that, this training is copyrighted. So if you try to hijack it, and we're not talking about the employees, just other people, if they try to hijack it, it's not going to work. Yes, Carissa, we do have an office in Kansas City. And Donna McCracken said, I wish USPS employees would Google USPS ELM section 540. This section of the Employee Labor Manual explains the process and procedures for all employers injured on the job. And it doesn't matter what craft you're in.
That's right. And the ELM is 540 is exactly right. That's where you go. And what you'll find is exactly like the Code of Federal Regulations. And they mirror each other.
Yeah. And if your friends want to catch this live tomorrow, there's our Breaking OWCP podcast. You can catch it, and it will always be left on all of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. So, and even if
TikTok, Breaking OWCP on
Breaking
TikTok.
OWCP TikTok. And if you don't have social media, and we know a lot of people don't, YouTube is there for free. You'll be able to catch us there live for the training.
However, if you have a cell phone, you qualify for social media, just so you know.
You always say that.
Yeah, qualify.
All right, guys, we are glad that we're safe. We're glad that we have our federal employees that are safe. We're sorry about the power. It's going to be restored soon. Should be restored by the end of the week. Crossing our fingers.
Probably by tomorrow.
Yeah. And those of you, again, in the McAllen, Texas area, we will be there Thursday for the open house meet and greet. It's going to be super fun. So that's on the 24th. The 27th is our OWCP 3-hour training. And then on October 29th, we are training AFGE commissary guys and ladies So, and then we're done for the year traveling. So we will see you guys not next week, but you'll catch us in the McAllen office. I'll be going live when Chris does his little 30-minute training.
It ain't little. It's just short.
It's an itty bitty training, 30 minutes.
It's going to be powerful.
Yeah, it always is. So come on, come see us, come get some drinks and some food and some brochures to pass out to your friends. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.